Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, ASU confirms talks with federal government's team as strike enters 7th day. ADC suspends former minister for alleged anti-party activities, and later on the show, federal government urged to introduce tax rebates for individuals and organizations investing in education, healthcare, food security and poverty eradication initiatives. Well, I'll be hanging out with Kaide, Ladede and Asuko James. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. When living in a community, one must recognize that behavior and content shared publicly can easily offend the moral and cultural sensibilities of others within that society. In Kano, that reality played out recently when a magistrate court ordered 2 TikTokers to marry within 60 days over videos seemed indecent and disrespectful to the cultural and religious values in the state. The duo, May Wushiria and Yarguda, were arraigned before the court on allegations of promoting immorality through their content. Delivering her ruling, Magistrate Welly warned that failure to conduct the marriage within the stipulated period would amount to contempt of court. Okay, gentlemen of the press, Asuko James, I mean, this court order raises a number of issues and questions, but can the courts mandate marriage as remedy or sanction in this regard?
It's just very funny, you know, because that is not the work of the court. You understand? The court cannot mandate or force anybody to get married. In fact, it is against Section 37, Section 38 and Section 39.
I'm even looking at 35, 37 and 40 of the
1999 Constitution, you know, because if you look at it violates their rights. You know, first their right to private life and even family life.
Sure.
And it also violates their own freedom for them to even associate. Because you cannot even force anybody to get married. If for instance, I hope that they will sit down, they have 60 days.
Yes.
They will sit down, look for a good lawyer who would appeal. You know, they have every right to appeal. Yes, we know that it might be based on Islamic laws. That is what the judge actually, came up with. But the thing is, you can't compel anybody to marry. It is by choice.
Exactly.
You know, it is by choice. Marriage is by choice. And that is why some people marry and then tomorrow they say they want to divorce. You know, why they are divorcing is because they have made up their mind based on certain things for them to, separate. So for this one, I know they listed a lot of things, that what they were doing was indecent. Come on, I've seen the video. Is more or less they are content creators. Some people might not like it. And I would maybe at some point we'll talk about what people should use as content creation. Because some people, to what you think might appeal to you, might not appeal to another person.
Exactly.
And so if you do not want to see certain things, there are some places in your phone that you can go and say, okay, I do not want to see certain things. And you
like
click
on cable
it.
TV, parental advisory.
Exactly. So it will now stop you from watching some things. But these are just content creators. Because they are not challenged, they've not challenged this particular case. So we might not really see have a full grasp of how this case is going to be. Because I've seen so many people commenting about it. And so many people are just wondering, what is wrong with, what is this?
I mean, like he said, sections 35, 37, 40, talk about freedom of association, your personal liberty and privacy here. But is it ethical to use marriage as a corrective tool for behavior termed indecent?
So, maybe we should put it this way. I think the closest to being a lawyer is Asuko, you know. We're not lawyers, and the sections we've cited,
Yes.
lawyers will tell you that, okay, that should be the ground norm. I think we have provided enough premises for appeal. That is the people involved. But, you know, when you're looking at the laws of the land, you're looking at religion, you're looking at cultural, and you're looking at so many things. And this, it is obvious that this is a case of Sharia law. And you know, the issue of Sharia law, if you do not subscribe to it, it should not affect you. But if these two people are subscribed to Sharia law, then it means that it's either they stay with the appeal within that confines of the law, or probably they approach the other kind of court that you and I are used to. So basically, I find it as a novel case, because when I look at it, just like everybody is surprised, I'm also surprised that, excuse me, force me to marry. That looks very, very abnormal in our climes. But I think it's something we should learn to study. Why would there be such things? What is it about the culture of the people of Kano that these people have actually infringed on? I think that's the analytical part of this.
What happens if either of the TikTokers refuse to marry?
And so, definitely,
what legal consequence can the court?
It's a magistrate court.
It's a magistrate court.
So whatever they've done is binding on them. It's either they appeal, rather instead of ignoring it. You cannot just ignore a law that has been given.
Becomes a content,
if you don't file an appeal, you understand, or a motion of appeal, or some kind of thing to restrain them from implementing it, you will run into trouble. You will run into trouble. So, but I'm just saying that this is a program not just for Nigerians, for international community. So this looks very absurd to those of us who do not understand the details of what is acceptable. Because because if you look at it from our own understanding, this is not something that was even done on national TV. It was done on the phone, on the TikTok. There are laws guiding these things. That's why some things that cannot go on national TV, you can go on your phone. You understand? You can go on the social media and some other platforms. So I find it quite novel. I want to understand how this will lead to, and like you have done, two of you have done, you have provided enough premises for the lawyer to step in, because forcing someone to marry looks very, very germane and totally unacceptable to me.
Okay, well, we leave the rest, you know, for the lawyers to actually do the interpretation. All right, let's move straight to